Welcome back to another episode of Manifesting Monday series on the podcast Organized Chaos Stories with Shabana. I'm your host, Shabana Knight. This episode is going to be short and sweet because it's already 9:30 p.m. on Sunday night, and let's just say I'm ready for bed. But I thought, I should probably record this episode because I want to, and I love where this series is going. I did not want to leave you hanging. Last week, in one of my online communities that I am a part of, if you're looking for an online community focused on spiritual growth and alignment, I'll link it in the show notes. It's Cathy Heller's This Abundant Life. It's $97 a month, and we always have amazing topics and conversations, along with the opportunity to meet like-minded people who want to grow personally and professionally. One of the questions that came up in the group was something along the lines of, what do you do when you realize you've outgrown certain friendships? What happens when you've grown personally and you desire deeper, more meaningful friendships, but you also recognize that some past relationships now feel toxic or harmful? What do you do then? That question reminded me of a time about 10 years ago when I was working as a personal trainer at a local gym. There were 3 coworkers who were part of my daily experience there. 2 of them I had become close friends with, but there was another coworker who clearly did not like me, no matter what I did. I tried being friendly, kind, outgoing, supportive, but I could tell that I just rubbed her the wrong way. She always seemed irritated around me. If you've ever been in a situation like this at work, you know how uncomfortable it can be. It makes going to work stressful. You try to avoid that person, maybe adjust your schedule if you can, and sometimes you just feel stuck wondering, what am I supposed to do about this? Then there were the other 2 coworkers I had become friends with, one female and one male. Over time, I realized that my friendship with the female coworker was starting to feel more negative. It had become gossipy and somewhat toxic, and I began to notice that it wasn't the type of energy I wanted in my life anymore. I felt like I was growing and changing and becoming ready for a healthier, more aligned friendship, but I wasn't sure how to transition out of that relationship. The 3rd coworker, the male one, was someone I had originally been friends with as well, but after a certain situation happened between us, everything shifted. After that moment, I felt like I didn't even want to see him anymore. It had become such a toxic dynamic that I even started thinking maybe I should just leave this job entirely. It was clear we had very different perspectives on things, and the tension felt really unhealthy. So with all 3 of these relationships, I spent a lot of time journaling and praying. Eventually, I decided to get really clear about what I actually wanted to manifest in my life. One of the most powerful exercises I've ever used when it comes to friendship is something I'm going to share with you now. I think I may have even come up with this idea actually. It's called the Friendship Bullseye exercise. If you've heard it before, let me know. Otherwise, I feel like I made it up. Take out a piece of paper and draw a bullseye. If you're not sure what that looks like, think of the Target logo, a small circle in the middle with several large circles expanding outward. Draw about 4 to 5 circles total. In the center circle, write the word me or write your name. Then, in the surrounding circles, write the names of people you currently have relationships with. For this exercise, you might list about 5 to 10 people. Place the people in the circles based on how close they are to you in your life. The people closest to you go in the inner circles. People who are less close to you go in the outer circles. After you've written the names, draw an arrow attached to each name. The arrow should either point towards the center, towards you, or away from the center, moving outward. This represents your true desire for the direction of that relationship. This podcast is sponsored by Happy Mail. I created Happy Mail for when you don't have the words, Happy Mail does. Happy Mail sends handwritten cards of encouragement that uplift, comfort, and reminds everyone they matter. Happy Mail is better than a McDonald's Happy Meal, spreading kindness, not calories. Click the link in the show notes and get your Happy Mail sent ASAP. Limited to U.S. residents only. For example, when I did this exercise, the 2 coworkers I had friendships with were in my second circle, fairly close to me. The coworker who didn't like me was in the third circle. But then I drew arrows showing what I truly desired. For all three of them, I drew arrows pointing outwards away from the center of my bullseye. Then I also added a few names for people who weren't in my life yet and or were on the outside circle, and I drew arrows pointing towards the center, symbolizing that I desired those types of relationships to come into my life. Sometimes you don't even know the names of the people yet. Maybe it's a new friendship, someone who truly sees and understands you, an amazing mom friend, someone aligned with the person you're becoming. So again, draw the bullseye, place 5 to 10 people in the circle, and then draw arrows pointing inward or outward depending on what you truly desire for the relationship moving forward. This simple exercise signals to your brain and to the universe what you truly want. And I kid you not, give it 3 to 6 months and you may be amazed at what happens. Your thoughts are incredibly powerful. When I did this exercise, the results were honestly shocking. The coworker who didn't like me at all, within less than a month, she was no longer training at the gym. I honestly don't even know what happened. I don't think anything bad occurred. She just moved on. Then the female coworker I had the gossipy friendship with, she ended up getting another job within a month. Naturally, we saw each other less and less, and our friendship dissolved in a very natural way. And the male coworker, within 2 weeks, he ended up being deployed to another state. He was in the military and had been working part-time at the gym. All 3 of those relationships shifted after I got clear about my intentions. This experience reminded me how powerful our thoughts can be. Sometimes we feel powerless in life, but the truth is we're not. When we get focused, clarify our desires, and trust the process, things can shift in incredible ways. Our job is to set the intention and trust that no matter what, I am loved, I am supported, I am protected, and all things are always working out for me. Some people might call it luck. I call it being intentional with my thoughts, getting clear about what I want, and believing there is a higher power, God, the universe, source, that is always looking out for me and wanting good things for my life. And I believe that is true for you too. They say manifestation is like ordering at a restaurant. The restaurant is the universe or God or source. You place your order and then you sit back and you trust that it will be brought to you. But at the same time, you also do your part. Manifestation has 2 parts: asking, believing, and receiving, and then taking aligned actions. After you ask, you also stay open and listen for the guidance that tells you what steps to take next. So this is just your reminder today. You are not stuck. You have choices. If you're feeling uncertain about relationships in your life, try this bullseye exercise. Write down the people in your life and draw arrows showing the direction you truly desire for the next few months. Then watch how your life begins to shift and unfold, because the universe is always listening and you are far more powerful than you could ever know, believe, or imagine. I love you. You're amazing. Happy Monday. Keep manifesting. Keep loving yourself. Keep shining brightly. The world needs the beautiful, magnificent light that only you can shine. I love you. Bye. Also, I have to put this in. So the episode that I just dropped on Sunday, March 8th, is episode 42. And it was an interview that I was a guest on my friend Pam Sandrock's podcast. Her podcast is called No Knockouts. And then the crazy part is she had posted obviously on her podcast. And it's also episode 42. So it's like crazy that on her podcast, it's number 42, and on my podcast, it's episode 42, just the synchronicity of that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode 43, on Manifesting Monday, on Organized Chaos, Stories with Shabana. Hope you have a great week, and make that target bullseye, make your friendship thing, let me know how it goes, and send me a message sometime. And love you all. Have a great week. Bye. Hey you, yes you. Thank you so much for listening to Organized Chaos, Stories with Shabana. If you love this episode as much as I did, hit that subscribe button, leave an outstanding review, and share it with a friend who needs some inspiration. Thank you for being part of this community. Remember, in every bit of chaos, there is always a story waiting to emerge. Who knows, maybe sharing your story might inspire others to share theirs. The possibilities are endless. Let's live in the possibilities.